Hello everybody, welcome back to another Trailmakers video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make any plane supersonic with the zero drag glitch. Without further ado, let's get on with today's tutorial. So today's tutorial is going to be a much more simple one, more aimed at beginners, and I'm going to teach you how to make basically any airplane or any build for that matter go a lot faster in the air. Alright guys, so to get started with the tutorial, we're going to go onto this map because this map has different template vehicles. In other words, we have a nicer jet to start with, which may look more like a jet that a real player would actually build. And just for a before and after comparison, if we take off real quick, you can see this jet flies pretty well. Uses gyros, I think. But it flies about 250 miles per hour, max speed. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It works, gets the job done, but we can do a whole lot better. So we're going to zero drag glitch this, and we're going to make it go, hopefully, supersonic. So without further ado, let's get on with this tutorial. So when it comes to the zero drag glitch, there's a few rules you want to remember, and this applies to anything. If we turn on aerodynamics, which may help you here, so you might want to do this, any surface that has an arrow in front of it, any surface at all that has an arrow, needs to have something in front of it that breaks off. So that includes inside the build. So if there are air pockets inside the build, you want to make sure there aren't. You want to fill those in. And I will show how to do this later if you have a build that utilizes the piston glitch, because that's when things get a little complicated. So if we look in here, you can see there are no air gaps. We're just double checking. And since now that we know there's no air gaps, we can get started. So we're going to turn off aerodynamics real quick. And the first step is to get a detachable block. We're just going to get a detachable block, and we're going to start simple by putting them in some easy spots, like right here. Basically, we want to cover everything. So we're going to start here just to keep it simple. And, I mean, that's really the only spot I can kind of start. We're going to put them right here. We're going to start here. And it definitely helps if you go into mirror mode for this, because it just makes it a lot less work. If your build isn't symmetrical, of course you can't do this, but the same lesson still applies. You'll just have to do it to each side, of course. But anyways, so once you have your detachable blocks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically cover every surface, like I said. So for example, this 2x2 little cone here, we're just going to cover it with a 2x2 block. And honestly, it doesn't matter what you cover it with as long as the hitbox is fully covered. So like this right here is basically this awkward shape. So we're going to kind of just try and fill it in however you can. So you can see right there, we kind of just filled it in, and that works. And then, of course, make sure everything's connected to itself. But the most important thing is you don't want these blocks you're placing to connect to the actual original build at all. And this is very, very important. So over here, we're going to cover these and just make sure everything's connected up. And now we can connect these to our detachable blocks here. And now moving on to the next part, we have this little kind of cockpit thing going on here. So I'm just going to use these blocks because there's nothing for it to attach to, so it's pretty much fine. And since this hitbox covers this one, we're good. We don't have to worry about these. And these cover all of these, so we don't have to worry about any of these right here, because this covers this, and this covers all of that. So we are good in the middle of the plane here. Now, let's do these guys right here. So, because there are things to get snagged in the wall, we're going to use some wedge blocks. And we're going to kind of line them up like that. And then I'm just going to duplicate them. So you can see the entire hitbox is fully covered here. And then I'm just going to kind of connect those, and it doesn't have to look good. It can be messy. It doesn't matter. All this will disappear off your build when you actually spawn it in. So it really does not matter at all how it looks, if it looks good or not. The only thing is you might want to be careful of complexity. If you're building something that has a high complexity, it might be harder to zero drag glitch because of that. But if we place more blocks here, you can see all the front is covered now. And now we need to make sure we do our guns. Never forget your guns, because guns also need zero drag glitched. Everything in the plane does, anything that's exposed. So now we can move on to our wing pieces here. And now these are fine because there is blocks in front of them, so we are good here. We just need to worry about the actual wing pieces. So just for simplicity, I'm going to use more normal blocks. So, and like I said, this works for any build. There is no limit to this at all. You can put this on anything as long as you have the complexity to do so. And later I'll show how to do it for a piston glitch build. But anyways, you place your blocks like this, and just make sure they're connected. So I guess I'm just going to spam more blocks. Again, we're not trying to make a pretty build here. We're trying to make a functional build. And then we're going to connect it up here. And now, basically, half the plane is zero drag glitch. These little skis, I'm going to zero drag glitch. But, so to zero drag glitch these skis, you would literally just run a line of, what are these? The wedge blocks underneath. So, let's do that. Make sure they're not connected to the build, because that would be really, really bad. So, we're just going to kind of connect them like this now. Now, if this was my plane, I probably would have just deleted the skis, but just because I want to show you guys how to do this, I'm not. I'm going to do it the hard way. And then, since this is covered by this detachable block, we don't have to worry about this, but we do have to worry about these two guys right here. So, we're just going to place one of these and another one of them right there. And we're going to make sure these are connected up. You can kind of see it coming together. The only other surface I think we haven't covered on this jet is these guys right here, and these are going to be more annoying. So really, we only have to zero drag glitch these two blocks, because the only blocks directly exposed to open air, even though they're technically behind something, if that makes any sense at all. So now that that's filled in, we're just going to kind of connect it up to the thing up here. Like I said, it doesn't have to look pretty. We just got to get the job done. So let's kind of try and rig that up here. And there we go. So now the next step is you want all of these blocks to fall off when you spawn the jet in. How do we do that? Well, first of all, let's turn off mirror mode. Okay, now that mirror mode is off, we can click on all of these, and we're going to make sure these are set to make scrap. And we're going to get a logic gate, and we're just going to use a distance sensor. You could use an altitude sensor, it doesn't really matter. Put it on top of your zero drag glitch area. And we're going to go in the settings, and we're going to set it to 0, invert trigger. And now, hook it up to all of your detachable blocks. So these guys right here, and these guys. Now when we spawn in, you can see that all the blocks fall off. I'll do it again. You can see them all fall off. And if we take off now, we should hopefully be supersonic, or at least close to supersonic. I don't know how much potential this jet has, but if we kind of keep going, we are picking up speed, and it does look like we will go supersonic. Yep, there we go. You can see we are easily going 1,000 miles per hour, but you can see this easily goes very, very fast. I think that was actually going Mach 2. Let me put it back to miles per hour. And this really doesn't make the build that OP, because you can see, like, since it doesn't have that many jets, it still has pretty slow acceleration, and it's still like a pretty non-OP jet. The only nice thing is, this thing easily cruises to about 1,000 miles per hour, which is crazy fast for the default starter jet you get when you play this map. So you can do this for really any build, and real quickly I want to show you guys how to do this on a build that is using pistons. So just as an example, I'm going to show you guys a jet that I did a video on a little while ago. So if I pull this jet out, you can see I have this Su-35 here, and it uses tons of piston glitching to kind of get extra thrusters in. You can see it right here. So it kind of pulls the piston, it used the pistons to pull down the thrusters. And while this one only flies 250, I did a zero drag glitch version that flies, well, not that much faster because I ran out of complexity. However, the way you do this is you have to zero drag glitch the part underneath where the piston's going to go and the part that's getting sucked into the build. So you can kind of see I zero drag glitched this part, and then I ran out of complexity to do this part. But if I pull out another build where I did zero drag glitch it, you'll see what I mean. Here's my fighter jet that some of you may have seen in my streams, and you can see if we spawn it in, there's this part that kind of retracts. I don't know if you saw it, but it's this part right here. And I basically just zero drag glitch the entire upper half, and I zero drag glitch the inside of this jet. So then this thing goes about 2,000 miles per hour because of that simple zero drag glitching. But anyways, if you guys found this tutorial useful in any way, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you want to. and also consider joining the Discord server in the channel description. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.